Good evening, everybody. This is Eric, and this is Quarantine Day 31, and this is the evening video. Alright, so lots of things have been happening here. Just kind of having a baby, having a little bit of time for Easter, and just work, and yeah, just finding opportunities to use Google Hangouts. I did that. I've done that a few times now within the last week with various different groups. So it's I think, this quarantine I thought might be a little bit more boring, but I think what it is it's just more challenging for a part of my brain that I just don't know quite how to define. And I think from what I've seen, from the people that I've talked to, the more introverted you are, the easier this quarantine seems to be going. When I've talked to some of the more introverted people that I encounter in life, they're like, hey, this is kind of a little bit me anyway, and, I've found time to do this project or that project. And then I talk to some of the more extroverted people, and they are struggling. I'm slightly on the extroverted side, but I'm definitely not a super extrovert or even very extroverted. I'm just slightly on that side of the fence. So it's been challenging, but I feel like my little bits of coping mechanisms here are sustaining me good enough. So I decided to pull out the little Cartman doll and the Hakuna Matata shirt that I got in Africa. So probably people know from The Lion King, Hakuna Matata means no worries, but in East Africa, so like Kenya, Tanzania, it's a fairly frequently used phrase, especially I think for tourists, just kind of, hey, no worries, Hakuna Matata, just kind of go with it. It's Swahili, so it's just kind of trying to convey to some of the more extroverted people, try to just have no worries. I think it's easy to get kind of worked up into lots of thought processes about, that you're not doing enough, that you're not sure when this will end, when you'll get to see people on a more normal basis again, and that's probably pretty stressful for you, but just try to have no worries. Try to just not think too much about that factor, and just try to exist where you are, and find those, I know they're insufficient, but those little things like Google Hangouts or Zoom or just video chatting. Other people generally want to talk right now, so do it and be intentional about it for your sake. And if they're not able to do it, Hakuna Matata, right? Don't, no worries on that front too. You're just outreaching. You're just being you. And, also just understand, being an extrovert, you get energized by people. So you might be a little bit more low energy, and you might think that you're supposed to be performing on the level of maybe an introvert who's getting tons of projects and being very productive during this time. Well, just try to have no worries about that too. Hakuna Matata. And it's going to be It's going to be okay if you're not the most productive person during this time. Um, we're all kind of getting through this, and you don't need to size up your own accomplishments with somebody else that is finding this a very opportune time. Because really, there are huge differences between how people are reacting to all of this. And now that we're over a month into it, for a lot of us, those differences are really starting to present themselves a lot in terms of the reactions. So just try to keep all that in mind. Be kind, be good to each other, and yeah, Hakuna Matata, my friends.